Right now, I'm delighted to say that jockey Robbie Power joins us on the line. Good morning to you, Robbie. How are things?
Morning, Owen. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. So, a huge weekend, obviously. Fairyhouse, it's the BoyleSports Irish Grand National on Monday. As always, it is Easter Monday. Before we get into the race in general and indeed your own career at the moment, I just want to get your take on the history of this race because it is Fairyhouse. You are a Meath man. Presumably, this would have been a huge fixture on your calendar as a boy growing up.
Yeah, of course it was. I mean, Fairyhouse, my local race course. I was there when I was about 10 years of age when Desert Orchid won the Irish Grand National, and that was probably one of the days I decided that's the day I definitely want to be a jockey. You know, it's a hugely famous race, and I mean, BoyleSports have done a fantastic job raising the profile of the race. The prize money up now to $500,000, and the quality of the race in the last couple of years since BoyleSports have done that has improved immensely. So it's going to be a hugely competitive race again on Monday, and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, without question. Just to pick you up on Desert Orchid there, that would have been the 1990 Grand National. What was it about that race? What was it about the performance of Desert Orchid that day that inspired you?
When I was in the 80s, Desert Orchid won the Gold Cup in 88, and I was a young kid sitting up on the armchair of a couch with a wooden spoon in my hand, thinking I was riding Desert Orchid. He was the horse that I suppose all kids in the 80s loved. He was grey, which was another huge thing as well, and he was hugely popular. And then when he was coming to Fairyhouse for the Irish Grand National, it was everyone wanted to be there. The crowd that day, it was massive. People sitting on the roofs of the stands and everything. It was huge. The performance he put in that day as well, he beat a good field and destroyed them, you know. And hard stop a moment at the last when he made a bad mistake, but it was no, he was just a huge icon of a horse. He was massive.
Out of interest, where would Desert Orchid rank in the all-time great national hunt horses that you've seen live?
Oh, he'd be bang up there. I suppose he was lucky to win a Gold Cup. Cheltenham never really suited him, and his pure guts and raw ability got him through in a Gold Cup one year. He was brilliant in Kempton every year in the King George, and he'd definitely be up there with one of the greats. I suppose the performance he put up in the Irish Grand National as well, with 12 stone on his back. Top class staying chasers nowadays aren't asked to do that because of the way the programme is. It's very rare that a horse like that would run in a race such as the Irish Grand National.
Yeah. Speaking of your own relationship with the course, I'm sure Gordon Elliot feels just as fondly about Fairyhouse, being a Meath man himself. You'd know very, very well how Gordon Elliot feels after winning a Grand National, having done it for him at Aintree. But how big a deal would it be for him to finally get his hands on the Irish National?
Yeah, it'd be huge, of course, and especially this year because himself and Willie Mullins are fighting for the trainer's title. Gordon led Willie going into Punchestown last year, and then Willie picked him at the post. So Gordon is looking for revenge, and to win the Irish Grand National would put him very much in command for that. He'd be a step closer to 275,000 first prize. Would put him very close to winning the Trainers' Championship.
Yeah, it seems to be as good a Trainers' Championship as we've seen. Last year's one was cracking as well, and I guess with the Gigginstown crossover and that news, whatever, it was in the middle of the last season if I recall correctly, that's really made the Trainers' Championship an event in itself. We don't just look at the individual races and the big blue ribbon stakes, we look at the Trainers' Championship now, I feel anyway, more than we ever have done.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose for a good few years there was no competition in the Trainers' Championship. Willie was dominating it. Before that, Noel Meade dominated the Trainers' title. But now Gordon has come along, and it's a great battle between Gordon and Willie for the Trainers' title. I suppose a bit like last season, I didn't pay much attention to the Flat Jockeys' Championship, but last year we kept a good eye on it because Colin Keenan and Pat Smullen were battling out. So when you have competition, it draws the attention more to it.
Robbie, we'll get the final declarations later today for the race on Monday, but Gordon Elliot could have as many as 12 runners. And when you combine his runners, potential runners, with those of Willie Mullins, I mean, it's making up half the field. And I just wonder what your thoughts are on how maybe National Hunt Racing has become a little bit of a closed shop. It's becoming increasingly difficult for upcoming trainers or for trainers from the smaller stables to have any sort of an impact.
Yeah, it is, definitely. But I mean, I suppose I'm in a very lucky situation because I'm stable jockey to Jessica Harrington, and she's got some fantastic horses as well. But it's just every so often in sport you have domination. Liverpool dominated in the 80s in the soccer, and then United dominated. There's always domination in every sport, and it won't last forever. And it's up to the younger trainers. Joseph O'Brien now is making a a fantastic stabler. He's raising his game. Jessica has raised her level as well. She's over 140 horses in training. So other trainers aren't closing in. It's they're making a move. But at the moment, with the backing of Gigginstown, Gordon's got a huge string, and obviously Willie as well with owners such as Rich Ritchie and that. It's but I think other trainers are closing in as well. I don't think it's we've won 2 Grade 1 races this season for Jessica, and there isn't the big domination that everyone thinks. I think the other trainers are getting their fair share as well.
I'm glad you made the football reference, because I think it's quite easy almost to make the Ronaldo-Messi comparison as well, because I think we're in an era of particularly Irish national hunt racing at the moment where I think we should be appreciating it more than we really are, I think. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for years it was a huge thing if Ireland went to Cheltenham and had 2 or 3 winners, and the fact now we're going having 14, 15, 19 last year, I think 16 this year. Irish racing at the moment is as high as I think it's ever been. I don't think you can get much higher. And it's because the good horses have been kept in Ireland. Okay, a lot of them are with Willie and Gordon, but I think it's much better for Irish racing that them horses are in Ireland than if they were in England with Paul Nicholls or Nicky Henderson.
Like you've mentioned some of the names there, and you've worked with all of them really, from Elliot to Harrington to Mullins. You've had winners for them all. Is there a common theme there at all that makes them all so good?
They're brilliant trainers. They're horse people, attention to detail, and as any of the trainers would tell you as well, it's the backroom team as well do a fantastic job. I mean, Jessica, for example, has got a great backroom team. You can't train 140 horses on your own. You need support around you. She's got her 2 daughters, Kate and Emma, Eamon Lee, and head man in the yard. You know, it's a huge team effort, and I think all the top trainers have a huge backroom team behind them, and that's what makes the difference.
And would you be watching them as a potential trainer in the future? Have you thought about getting into that line of work? Because obviously horses have been around you for your entire life, from your father right the way through to your successful jockeying career yourself. So presumably there's part of you that's thinking about this career path after being a jockey.
Yeah, I suppose at the moment the jockey side of things is going well enough, and I don't really want to think about doing something else. I suppose I will have to at some stage, but I don't know if training is top of the agenda at the moment. It's a very competitive game, and I don't know if it's for me. But anyway, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to concentrate on riding for as long as I can. As Harry Rogers once said to me when I rode a big winner from in Punchestown one year, he says, ride for as long as you can, because when you stop, you'll have to start working.
Sure, being a jockey is just as competitive, Robbie, no?
Yeah, it is. Look, it's there's so many top class riders in Ireland, from Ruby Walsh, Davy Russell, Barry Geraghty, Mark Walsh. There's a number of very, very good riders. The talent riding horses in Ireland at the moment, I don't think it's ever been as high. Young riders coming up like Jack Kennedy as well. It's there's so much strength and depth, and you're only as good as your last ride. So you've got to keep raising the game.
Yeah, I guess there's an element when you speak about kind of deciding what you want to do afterwards, and you mentioned Ruby and Davy. They're about 2 years your senior at the moment. They're both 38 at the moment, and I'm sure all 3 of you are thinking about what is the next step. And is there an element about being a jockey that you've just got to cash in at the right time? You need to know when to walk away from the table, so to speak. Yeah,
I suppose, look, every jockey would love to be able to come in someday after riding a horse and say, that's it, lads, I've had enough. Unfortunately, not every jockey gets to make that decision. The decision is made for you. Hopefully someday I'll come in after riding a winner for Jessie and say, thanks a million, Jessie, but I've had enough, I'm going to call it a day. And that's the way every jockey loves to go. And
do you think that's likely, Robbie?
But as I say, it's a dangerous game, and the decision is not always in your hands.
But do you envisage that day coming, Robbie? Because you clearly have such a dedicated love for riding horses in big races. I would doubt that it'll never enter your mind that someday you'll just think, you know what, I've had enough of this.
Yeah, at the moment, no. We're just going to have to keep going. As I say, I love it, and it's great to be able to get paid to do a job you love. You know, I don't feel every morning getting up, I don't feel like I'm going to work. It's you're doing something you love, and hopefully you can keep doing it for as long as possible.
Did the injury at all ever put that into focus? Like, I guess when you get any sort of injury to the head area at all, I know it was your eye at the time, like, if you always think to yourself how much worse that could have been if it had been a heavier hit or a different part of the head. Did that change your thinking at all about the end of days as a jockey? We seem to have...
We've lost Robbie there.
Hello, Robbie? Oh, no, we've just lost him there. We'll come back to that in just a moment. We're just re-establishing the connection outside.
We'll have to stop writing. We'll have to start writing him off as a jockey some other day.
Yeah, exactly. We'll
end his career.
Once we get him back up, we'll chat to him briefly about Cheltenham, and indeed this weekend he is going to be riding Folsom Blue for Gordon Elliot at Fairyhouse this Monday for the BoyleSports Irish Grand National. It is, of course, BoyleSports ambassador and 2017 winner of the race. Are the Duke, of course, Robbie Power. Hopefully we'll get him back in a moment, but if not, got a couple of nuggets out of him that time anyway. It's fascinating that he's got such a relationship with Fairyhouse, and I guess going full circle when you're there as a boy watching it in 1990 and then you actually get to win the thing in 2017 clearly adds a completely different level of specialness to the occasion, doesn't it? Yeah,
he's it's incredible to think that, you know, we're 11 years out from his Grand National win in the English National on Silver Birch in 2007, and here he is 11 years later hoping to go and win another national at home and kind of copper fasten his position as one of the legendary jockeys in Irish riding history. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, legendary jockey is right, Robbie. The last man to do back-to-back Irish Grand Nationals as a jockey in Ireland was Tommy Carberry, I think, and obviously a Meath man to another Meath man. I wonder, could the whole thing go full circle this weekend?
I don't know. It'd be great if it did. I've got a good ride in the National on Monday. I ride Folsom Blue, so he's going to love the conditions. The trip will suit. So Tommy Carberry was a legendary jockey. He was an unbelievable man. It'd be great to follow in his footsteps.
What's your general feeling in the wake of Cheltenham? Like Super Sunday coming second at Penn Hill in the Stairs, and then our Duke obviously with a disappointing ride in the Gold Cup. But I guess you look at the conditions and it was very, very tough out there. The first time I think in 33 years that we had heavy conditions early in the week anyway. So I presume there's an element after Cheltenham where you're like, listen, that was kind of an outlier of a year.
Yeah, look, it was just unfortunate this year with the way the weather was. I'm 17 years going to Cheltenham. It's the softest ground I've ever had to ride in Cheltenham. It's very unusual, but I suppose it was going to happen some year. And I thought Super Sunday ran a cracker. He ran a better race, I thought, than he would run on the ground. Just found Penn Hill too good, and that was an unbelievable training.
I think we've lost Robbie again, but that is BoyleSports ambassador Robbie Power there, of course, last year's Grand National winner. We may leave that there, but that is with regards to the BoyleSports Irish Grand National, which happens on Monday because it is Easter Monday, the kind of one thing you mark on your calendar every year when you pull it out. And it's great to see the level of prize money when you look at the race, because I guess prize money is what a lot of people define races by, and seeing $500,000 there going around between the various winners of that race kind of puts it up, as I say, into the top three in Ireland and the UK. So the prestige is back if ever it was gone. I don't think it was really.
No, I think it's always had a brilliant place in the Irish sporting calendar. I would not be a racing man in general terms, but I would always have watched the Gold Cup, the Aintree Grand National and the Irish Grand National, and I'll be doing that on Monday. Just one last question, Robbie. I know we have you back one last time. As we said, you are riding Folsom Blue. If there is any kind of your view of the weekend as a whole, I'm not sure what your plans are on the Sunday. I haven't actually seen the declarations yet, if they've been announced. Are you confident going into Fairyhouse? I'm not actually sure what the forecast is going into this, but surely after Cheltenham, you're chomping at the bit, you're ready to go again. Yeah, look, exactly. We're going to have heavy ground this weekend again, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. We've got some very nice horses to run on Sunday. Alley Tricks in the Grade 1 mares, Jets in the Grade 2 novice hurdle, and look, hopefully it'll be a tough week's race. And obviously Gordon and Willie are going to be throwing plenty of ammunition trying to win the trainers' title, so it'll be tough, but we're going to compete with them and give it a good shot. Absolutely. Well, best of luck with it all, and we might chat to you at the other end of it should you do back-to-back again. Good luck, Robbie. Cheers. Thanks a million, lads. Robbie Power there. He'll be on Folsom Blue, as we said, for Gordon Elliot at Fairyhouse on Monday. Robbie Power is also a BoyleSports ambassador and, of course, the 2017 winner of the Irish Grand National on our Duke.